Okay, we are back. Contrary to your life, where things are always going so badly for you, whatever it is, here's a gentleman who everything seems to go great all the time. He's a fine actor. He's the father in the very popular series, 8 is Enough, which, as you know, is on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Would you welcome Dick Van Patten? Good to see you, Dick.
Thanks a lot. You were so funny, Joan. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Isn't she crazy?
Couldn't stop laughing back there. That was great.
How'd you think I was in the monologue, Dick?
Oh, you were wonderful. They all raved about that, too. No, really, everybody's laughing at
I'm
your
so
monologue.
insecure, everybody wants to know how you did. You look wonderful. You've been outdoors, obviously.
Yeah, right. I'm on vacation. I'm very nervous now, though, because you booked me to come on tonight, April 3rd, a month ago. I didn't know it was going to be happening right at this moment. Yeah. But my whole life is in a turmoil at this moment, at this very moment.
Bad, good, or what?
Well, it's nerve-wracking. You know, my son, Vincent,
sure.
he left acting to become a professional tennis player, and he's on the tour now. He's voted Rookie of the Year.
And he's sensational.
Well, right now...
Is he in Monaco?
No, it's worse than that. Right now, at this very moment, right now, I'm going crazy.
We're talking.
He's in the quarterfinals. He's playing feedback in the Volvo $75,000 Grand Prix tournament in New Orleans at the Municipal Stadium. And I don't know the result because he's in the middle of the match right now.
Wojciech Feedback.
Well, yeah, you know him, right? I couldn't pronounce his first name. That's why I just said feedback.
He's a fine player.
Right.
But so is Vince.
Vinny's good, too, yeah. So as soon as I find out the result, those people in New Orleans probably know now what I don't know.
Is it tougher for you, say, to be here and away from it than to be, say, at courtside?
It's worse at courtside.
Yeah, I would think so.
Of course, if he beats feedback, I have to go then, you know, because I go to the semifinals and the finals, you know.
Right.
And
does he get nervous if he looks over and sees you there?
No, he likes to have me there, but I get so nervous when I'm there, so it's really a mess. He'd rather have me there, and I'd rather be here and hear the news. I get too scared.
So after the show is over, you'll find out what happened.
That's right, yeah. But then at the same time, your friend, my sister, Joyce Van Patten, is opening up right now, at this moment. The curtain is probably coming down now on the second act of the Neil Simon play, I Ought to Be in Pictures. She's starring in that, you know? So that's a lot of action going there for me, too. And did you hear what happened in that? It was so funny. You know, it's opening on Broadway right now at this moment, but it played out here in Los Angeles. And one night, there's 2 acts in the show.
Right.
And there's only 3 actors in the show, my sister and 2 other actors. And out here in Los Angeles, after the first act, the other 2 actors both got sick. It's simultaneous. That's like a thing in history. You know, that never happens with 2 of them. So the 2 understudies had to go on. So my sister had to finish the play with 2 completely different actors. And one of the lines in the play, I swear I'm not making this up.
During the first and second act, they got sick?
In the they went on during the first act, and they were both sick. They had ptomaine poisoning.
In the second act,
and they couldn't. They tried to make it, and then in the second act, they couldn't make it. They were both dying from this food poisoning, and so then my sister had to play these. I said that already. My sister had to play with the 2 understudies, and one of the lines in the second act, I'm not making this up, my sister has to say to the girl, "You know, you've changed though since I first met you." And the whole audience applauded and they howled. They laughed for 5 minutes. You know, Joy, she's got a great sense of humor. It was hard for her to finish it.
Oh,
but that's true.
Hysterical.
But I got those 2 action things going for me now. My sister's opening and Vincent playing.
Vince is playing.
Right.
Think you'll make it through the show all right?
Yeah, it keeps me going. You know, I'm happy and everything.
Most actors work well. Now, come on, performers generally work better when there's a crisis. You know, when there's a little pressure. I find that, at least I do. If there's a little bit of walking on the edge of danger, you kind of come up to it.
Yeah, you get those extra juices.
You really do.
And everything. Probably.
And if everything goes too well, you wait. At least I do. If everything is just great.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you think something's going to happen? It shouldn't be this nice, and then all of a sudden something's going to turn on you?
Yeah, I guess so. Right.
Yeah, when things are going well. You ever get guilty? You're always so up. You're an ebullient personality.
Yeah.
What depresses you?
Well, nothing much. If I do get depressed, I mean, I'm not completely happy, but if I do get depressed, I fantasize. I'm not telling you that you should do this. This is what I do. I don't know whether it'll work for anybody else, but it does work for me. I'm very happy. If I get depressed for a minute, I make believe that the doctor just called me up and said, "You have 3 months to live." And I feel terrible then, you know, I'm really depressed. Then I make believe that the phone rings again. He just says, "Listen, it was the wrong x-rays. You're okay. You're healthy. You're going to live." And I'm so relieved now that I'm going to be healthy and living that I'm back that I'm completely happy again. And
I never thought of that. So you pretend the doctor's giving you 3 months, you're depressed.
Right, and I just found out, oh my gosh, he was wrong. I have nothing to worry about. You know, and it works. It's fun anyway.
I'd call and get another opinion, I think, immediately from the first doctor. Do you, what do you do when you really get up? Do you go out to sports, I mean, to work off the excess energy?
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel guilty. Like, I've been working since I was 7 years old, and I never turned down a job. I don't think anyone's As you know, it's a long time. I've taken every job that's ever been given to me. I've never left a show or a television show. I've stayed with everything till the bitter end. I don't know what it is to leave because I'm always, I feel I'm so lucky to get a job, you know, why leave it? But I just turned down my first job.
Now, could I ask you why you
And
turned it down?
I feel very guilty about it. I don't even know why I brought it up. But anyway...
After all of this career, you turned down a role?
It's the first time, and I still feel badly. I don't know whether it was a mistake or not. The 8 is Enough went on hiatus, you know?
Right.
And the day after that it went on hiatus, his friend of mine, an actor, very good actor, David Huddleston, he said, I'm doing this new play with Carl Reiner, The Roast. He said, there's a terrific part in it for you. He said, you should really do it. Well, I didn't really want to do it because I was just starting an 8-week vacation, you know? But I didn't have the heart to tell him no. I should have. I should have been a man and said, no, David, I don't want to do it. But I said, gee, that would be nice. Well, the next he went to Carl Reiner, and the next day Carl Reiner calls me up. He says, Dickie, I hear you want to do the play. That's wonderful. So I said, well, wait a minute. He said, I'll send the script right over, but we have to know by tomorrow morning, you know. So I read the script, and it was a good script. It's very funny. I mean, there's some really funny stuff in it. And the part would have been interesting for me to play and everything, but I didn't really want to do it because I wanted the 8-week vacation. And in the meantime, David Huddleston is such a nice guy. He took me to Jimmy Cagney's house for St. Patrick's Day party, you know. It was fun to meet Jimmy Cagney at St. Patrick's Day. He sang for It Was Mary and everything. And here I was a part of that all because of David Huddleston. And now he wants me to be in the place so we can have fun. And Carl Reiner's calling me up. I don't know how to say no. I don't want to do it. And I finally did. I did say no. And maybe it was wrong. What do you think? Do you think it was wrong? It was wrong.
Yeah. Definitely a big, bad career move, Dick. No, I understand that. That's incredible. I want to come back and ask you if ever, because you said you've never turned down anything.
All right.
I want to come back and find out what happens when you get into a player situation where you've got somebody in the cast you can't stand, and how you handle that. We'll be right back after this. We're back. We're talking with Dick Van Patten, Joni Rivers. Knowing you, as I think I do, I would guess if you were in a play or something with somebody who was a royal pain in the organ of your choice, you'd probably not say anything.
Well,
you know, you're a professional.
I've been in a lot of plays. I was in 27 Broadway plays. And I've never met anybody that's been in that many. I guess there must be someone that's been in more than that, but no one has spoken up so far. So as of right now, I hold the record.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I've worked with actors that are very aggravating, that take themselves very seriously, and it can be a pain in the neck, but I don't ever get angry about it. What I do is I feel, well, look, this is what I'm getting paid for. There's got to be some aggravations. You don't get anything for nothing, and this is part of the job, is to be aggravated by this idiot out here.
Right.
So, you know, I'll go through it. I get through it that way.
You're professional, and those are the ground rules, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, those idiots fade out. I've seen it now since I was 7 years old. They don't last.
Yeah,
they really don't. And I've seen the big ones, too, and now they're looking for work.
Well, as they say, it comes full circle somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I guess so.
What was the worst play you were ever in? When it really was El Bamo?
Well, I don't know. I know I was in 3 plays that ran one night. Now, that sounds
Open
like...
and closed the same.
But I was in a lot of plays that ran 4 years and 3 years and 2 years. I was in a lot of big hits, too.
Right.
But the 3 plays that ran one night was a play by Jean Ennui in 1949 called Cry of the Peacock. In fact, if it had been done now, it probably would be a hit, but it was a little ahead of its time.
Right.
It was in many a turkey, but this was the first peacock.
Peacock, really? Did not make it, eh?
No, and the other one was a play directed by Guthrie McClintock called The Lady Who Came to Stay, and she didn't. It was at the Maxine Elliott Theater. It opened and closed in one night. And the other one was Have I Got a Girl for You? In 1963. That was the night after Kennedy got killed, too.
Yeah,
so that probably, you know, had a lot to do with it. But those were the only 3 plays that opened and closed in one night.
Yeah, and they go up, I guess, right at the end of the play, and they put the closing notice on the board. And,
oh, yeah, it's depressing.
And you've spent time on the road, and you open, and 800 or 900 people see it, and
that's the
end of it.
Right, You know, and Have I Got a Girl for You? It was supposed to open this very night that happened, you know, to Kennedy, and it didn't because they made Broadway dark that night, and everything was adjourned for 2 nights. So we opened 2 nights later. Now we opened the night that Ruby did the thing. Now everybody was talking about Ruby. You remember that?
Right.
Ruby. Everybody was on everybody's lips when Ruby. Did it. So the part that I played in that show was Ruby. My name was Ruby. So I went to the director.
Good
I said,
Lord.
please change my name. You know, I don't want to come out there and say, hello, Ruby. He said, no, that doesn't make any difference. That's silly. But it did. It was a comedy. And I walked on the stage and he said, here's Ruby. And the whole audience went, because it was terrible to start out. And maybe that's one of the reasons it ran one night.
That's terrible timing, yeah. I mean, to open a play, that probably had more to do with it than they thought.
It might have.
Time.
Yeah.
You like to go to the track, don't you?
Yes, I do. In fact, that's what I'm doing now. I play tennis in the morning, I go to the races in the afternoon, and then I play cards at night. It's very, very nice.
Are you good at it?
Poker
When I say
in the
good
evening.
at it, are you good at Winning?
Oh, well, I'm lucky, you know. I've always been sort of lucky. But it's not as, now that I'm doing well, it's not as exciting because it doesn't make that much difference whether the horse wins or loses. But it used to be. I was scared to
See,
death,
that's what
you
I was
know?
talking about a moment ago. Living on the edge of a crisis, you see, when you don't have the dough and you got money riding,
Then
there's
it was
a lot
really,
more
boy,
going.
if the horse won, then I'd really get excited. Now I'm not quite as excited, you know, because sometimes it's more exciting to gamble when you can't really afford it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the danger of it.
Yeah.
As you say, if you're a little affluent, it takes the fun away from it, right?
Yeah.
It's like seeing something in a store window. If you can go in and buy it, it's not nearly as much fun as saving up and finally being able to get it. I think that way anyway.
Yeah, I think you're, but it is wonderful to get up in the morning and play tennis all morning and then take a shower and go to the races. It's really a nice
And play
life,
poker
you
at
know?
night? Yeah, that.
Yeah, it's really fun. Of course, it won't last. I'll be back doing 8 is enough in a few weeks, you know.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm going to do a love boat go on the cruise. You've done that, haven't you, Joan?
Not yet.
No? It's fun, you know. You go on a cruise and let me bring my wife along.
They actually go out on the cruise?
Yes, we're going through the Caribbean, and I can bring my wife, and she's pretty and everything, so it'll be nice.
I mean, if she wasn't pretty, it'd be a pretty long trip. Is that what you're...
You know, they say that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder or something, and I keep telling everybody how beautiful my wife is. And I was thinking the other day, maybe she isn't this
Yes,
pretty.
she is.
And everybody might think I'm a real jerk, you know,
No.
out there telling everybody how pretty she is. I should cool it on that.
She is pretty.
But she's pretty to
Very-
me.
she's very pretty.
cute, you know.
Yeah.
She's-
I've seen her. She's pretty.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, she's really
Yes.
pretty.
Good. All right.
You shouldn't feel bad about that.
Oh,
She's
all
pretty.
right,
It's okay to take her on that cruise. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.